welcome to another episode of Codo Cinema, the podcast show where I talk about movies. I'm your host, Mark Codo, aka Codo Man. And for this episode, I'm going to talk about the 96 Academy Awards and, of course, the Razzie Awards as well. Now, the Razzie Awards were on Saturday, March 9th, while the 96 Academy Awards was on March 10th. Now, I'm going to talk about the Academy Awards first, or should I say Oscars, and then the Razzies. So I'm going to switch things around a little bit. So I'm going to talk about the 96 Academy Awards, or should I say the Oscars, and then the Razzies. Starting with the Academy Awards, the 96 Academy Awards ceremony, which was presented by the Academy of Motion Picture and Arts and Sciences, took place on March 10th of 2024 at the Dolby Theater in Hollywood, Los Angeles. During the gala, the Academy Awards, commonly referred to as Oscars, there were 23 categories honoring films released in 2023, with comedian Jimmy Kimmel hosting the Oscars for the fourth time, following the 89th ceremony in 2017, the 90th ceremony in 2018, and the 95th ceremony in 2020. The nominations were announced on January 23rd of 2024, with Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer leading the awards ceremony with 13 nominations, followed by Poor Things and Killers of the Flower Moon with 11 and 10 Oscar nominations. Oppenheimer won 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director for Christopher Nolan. Other major winners were Poor Things with 4 awards and The Zone of Interest with 2 awards. The films which went home with 1 award each include American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Boy and the Heron, Godzilla Minus One, The Holdovers, and 20 Days in Mariupol. The telecast itself drew 19.5 million viewers in the United States, becoming the most watched awards show since 2020. Let's talk about the winners. Now, starting with Best Picture. Best Picture went to Oppenheimer, which was Emma Thomas, Charles Robin, and Christopher Nolan. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it was a good win. Oppenheimer, I mean, let's be honest. Even though Oppenheimer is a 3-hour film, I mean, sure, yeah, Lord of the Rings: Return of the King was a 3-hour movie as well. I mean, those movies, like it still won. Oppenheimer won Best Picture, and I'm actually glad it won because when you really think about it, Christopher Nolan has made an epic biopic thriller, and this film wasn't even distributed by Warner Brothers. This was distributed by Universal, and Christopher Nolan he went all out with this movie. Like, literally, imagine how different this movie would have been if Christopher Nolan was not involved with this movie. Think about it. How different would Oppenheimer be if Christopher Nolan was not involved with this movie? It would be a totally different film. But I'm glad Oppenheimer took home that win. And congratulations to Emma Thomas, Charles Robin, and Christopher Nolan for winning Best Picture for Oppenheimer. It beat out American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Past Lives, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. But anyway, not much to say, but congratulations to Oppenheimer. Now for Best Director, Christopher Nolan. I got excited when I heard Christopher Nolan's name as the winner for Best Director, and rightly so. Like, Christopher Nolan has directed some of the best films. I mean, let's think about it. He directed the Dark Knight trilogy. He directed Dunkirk. He did Inception. He directed Interstellar. He also directed Tenet. Plus, he has done other films. He's done other films as well. But Oppenheimer was obviously one of his biggest was literally his biggest film achievements in terms of directing, and rightfully so. Christopher Nolan literally deserved the Best Director award, and I'm glad he did. And out of the films that he has directed, I believe The Dark Knight and Oppenheimer are 2 of his biggest films that he has directed. Same with Inception, in my personal opinion, but I'm glad Christopher Nolan won for Best Director. He beat out Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall, Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon, Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things, and Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest. And I'll just say this: congratulations to Christopher Nolan for taking home Best Director for Oppenheimer. Now, moving forward, we move forward to Best Actor, and speaking of Oppenheimer, Cillian Murphy took home Best Actor for portraying J. Robert Oppenheimer. Now that one I actually saw that one coming, because when you think about it, in my opinion, I believe this is Cillian Murphy's best acting role that he have ever had in his entire career. Now, I've seen Cillian Murphy in most notably the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight trilogy, where he played Scarecrow, and then I know he had a role in A Quiet Place Part Two. But when coming to think about it, I remember Cillian Murphy for the Dark Knight trilogy, but for Cillian Murphy coming out to play J. Robert Oppenheimer in the Oppenheimer movie in the lead role, that is amazing. And Cillian Murphy literally went out of his way to portray the character. And Cillian Murphy beat out Bradley Cooper for Maestro as Leonard Bernstein, Coleman Domingo for Rustin as Bayard Rustin, Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. So anyway, congratulations to Cillian Murphy for winning the Best Actor Oscar in Oppenheimer. Now, moving on to Best Actress. The winner in that category would be Emma Stone for Poor Things as Bella Baxter. And I'm gonna be honest, I have not seen Poor Things, so I've not seen Poor Things to be honest, so I don't know how I feel about that. But for Emma Stone winning Best Actress, I will say this: congratulations to Emma Stone. She beat out Annette Bening for Naiad, Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Huller for Anatomy of a Fall, and Carey Mulligan in Maestro. Now, to be honest though, I had Lily Gladstone as a potential winner for Best Actress in Killers of the Flower Moon, because for what I heard, Lily Gladstone played did a very good job in Killers of the Flower Moon. In my opinion, everybody, whether it's from acting to from the acting category to the production crew, they all did a fantastic job bringing their films to life, in my opinion. And I have not seen Killers of the Flower Moon, but for what I heard Lily Gladstone was very good, and a lot of people thought she would be a top contender to win the Best Actress category. But in fairness, Emma Stone took home Best Actress. So anyway, congratulations to Emma Stone for winning Best Actress in Poor Things. Now moving forward to Best Supporting Actor, and the winner for Best Supporting Actor went to Robert Downey Jr. as Louis Strauss in Oppenheimer. Now that one, when I heard he won, I started to sing the Iron Man theme. Literally, think about it. This is Robert Downey Jr.'s third Oscar nomination and first win. And he has done a lot of films, and of course he had his own issues outside of film, but of course during that time he was trying to cleaning himself up just to get back on track. He did that. He cleaned himself up. He got involved in more films, and now Robert Downey Jr. has become one of the best actors out there. Like literally, Robert Downey Jr. His story, like he went through hell and back. Like he had a career decline outside of his career, and then he was able to bounce back after cleaning himself up to become one of the best actors. Like literally, Robert Downey Jr. was nominated for the Charlie Chaplin movie that came out in the 90s, plus the Tropic Thunder movie that came out in 2008, the same year Iron Man came out, and now he got his third Oscar nomination for his role as Louis Strauss in Oppenheimer. And let me be honest, Robert Downey Jr. did a fantastic job portraying Louis Strauss. And like I said, when I heard his name as the winner of that night, I started to sing the Iron Man theme. I was excited when I heard he won. Like that is amazing moment for Robert Downey Jr. Congratulations to Robert Downey Jr. And the other nominees were Sturry King Brown for American Fiction, Robert De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon, Ryan Gosling for Barbie, And of course, Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things. Whoa, seems like Iron Man beat out the Hulk. Except Iron Man beat the Hulk out with his Hulkbuster. Yeah. So yeah, hey, it's good that Mark Ruffalo got his nomination too, so that's good. Same with Ryan Gosling, Robert De Niro, and Sterling K. Brown. Even though hey, at least Ryan Gosling as Ken was obviously one of the best parts in the Barbie movie. I'll give him that. So anyway, congratulations to Robert Downey Jr. for winning the Best Supporting Actor. Now moving forward to Best Supporting Actress. The winner in that category went to Davine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers as Mary Lamb, and she beat out Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple, America Ferrera for Barbie, and Jodie Foster for Nyad. Honestly, I mentioned in my Oscar and Razzie nominations that America Ferrera got nominated. I believe she got nominated because of that one scene in the Barbie movie where she's talking to Barbie, where Gloria expresses her frustration with the conflicting standards women are forced to follow in the real world, and that's the moment where Gloria's speech restores Barbie's confidence. I believe that's the scene that helped get America Ferrera her Oscar nomination, and that was also shown at the Oscars too. So just to throw that out there. I will say that it's great that America Ferrera got her Oscar nomination. Same with Jodie Foster, Danielle Brooks, and Emily Blunt for their movies as well. For their movies as well. But anyway, but for The Holdovers, I seen The Holdovers as actually a pretty good movie. And Davine Joy Randolph, who played Mary Lamb, like she did a great job playing the role of Mary Lamb in The Holdovers. So congratulations to Davine Joy Randolph for taking home Best Supporting Actress. Now, moving forward to Best Original Screenplay. The winner in that category went to Anatomy of a Fall, which went to Justine Triet and Arthur Harari. And that movie beat out The Holdovers, Maestro, May December, and Past Lives. Nothing much to say in that category, but congratulations to Anatomy of a Fall for winning Best Original Screenplay. Now, moving forward to Best Adapted Screenplay. And the winner in that category went to American Fiction. And it beat out Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. It's actually amazing to see both Barbie and Oppenheimer for Best Adapted Screenplay. I wasn't really sure which one was gonna win. I thought Oppenheimer might win, or Barbie. I wasn't really sure because because Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach did the screenplay for Barbie. And by the way, fun fact: Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach are a couple right now. And of course, Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan wrote the screenplay for Oppenheimer, plus obviously based on the book, American Prometheus, The Triumph and Tragedy of J. Robert Oppenheimer by Kai Bird, Martin J. Sherwin. Plus, going back to Barbie for a second, Barbie by Mattel, you know. But anyway, not much to say, but congratulations to American Fiction. Congratulations to Cord Jefferson for writing the screenplay for American Fiction in the Best Adapted Screenplay category. Now, moving on to Best Animated Feature Film. And the winner of that category went to The Boy and the Heron, which was directed by Hayao Miyazaki and Toshio Suzuki. And this film beat out Elemental, Nimona, Robot Dreams, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Okay, it was a tough competition between The Boy and the Heron and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And I want to get this out of my system. I'm glad Elemental did not win. I've already done a review of Elemental, so if you want to go check out my review of Elemental, go ahead. But also, I just want to say this. Listen, as interesting as Elemental was, it came late into the party. I'm sorry, but even though the premise of that was interesting, Elemental came late to the party. Sorry. But for The Boy and the Heron and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, it was a stiff competition. It was a stiff competition. Oh my goodness. Like both The Boy and the Heron and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, it is like a tough competition to see which one will win. But of course, But of course, knowing the fact that Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse ended on a cliffhanger, and I can understand why some people don't like cliffhangers as much, but in fairness, though, we there is a sequel coming out. There is a sequel coming out for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I mean, which is basically the third one. Now, I don't know, which is basically the third one, which is coming out soon. I don't know when that's going to come out. It was supposed to come out this year. The Spider-Man Spider-Verse sequel, the third installment, was supposed to come out this year on March 29th, 2024. Now the film was pushed back. Now the third installment was pushed back due to an alleged lack of production progress. Lord and Miller stated that the production would take the necessary time for the film to be completed to their standards. So there was an alleged lack of production progress. Plus, you have the 2023 SAG-AFTRA strike that was going on in 2023, and of course, its original release date for Spider-Man Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, which is the title of the third Spider-Verse movie. It was supposed to come out on March 29th of 2024. So this would have been a back-to-back movie for the last two Spider-Verse movies. Like, we got one that came out in 2023, which was Across the Spider-Verse, and the original idea was supposed to get Beyond the Spider-Verse to come out March 29th, 2024. But unfortunately, it was delayed. It is delayed. Now, I don't know when the third one will come out. Hopefully sometime next year. I mean, maybe next year, or even 2026. Well, who knows? We'll see what's gonna happen. I mean, we were left off on that cliffhanger at the end. I mean, let's go! Let's go! I'm waiting on that third film. Waiting on that. All right, but it's gonna be hopefully sometime next year, or maybe 2026. Who knows? Also, as a side note, I thought the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse would win the Oscar Spider-Man, because in my Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse episode, I thought it might take home the win, being the godfather of animated movies, because the first two Godfather movies won Best Picture, and I thought the Spider-Verse movies would win. I thought the Spider-Verse movies would be like that, because the first Spider-Verse movie that came out in 2018 won the Oscar for Best Animated Feature Film, to which I thought the second film would win the Oscar for Best Animated Feature Film. But I was completely wrong. I mean, I gotta give credit to The Boy and the Heron. I think the closest to the Godfather of animated movies is probably Toy Stories 3 and 4, in my opinion. Like, I think that's the closest to what we're gonna get, because I'm thinking more in terms of like first and second installments, but in my opinion, obviously, I think Toy Story 3 and 4 are basically the closest we're gonna get. Even though it's a third and fourth installment, they are two installments. Just to throw that out there, but anyway, congratulations to Hayao Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli for winning the Oscar for The Boy and the Heron in the Best Animated Feature category. Now let's move on to Best International Feature Film, or otherwise known as Best Foreign Language Film. And the winner in that category went to The Zone of Interest for the United Kingdom, directed by Jonathan Glazer. And that film beat out Il Capitano from Italy, Perfect Days from Japan, Society of the Snow from Spain, and The Teacher's Lounge from Germany. So congratulations to The Zone of Interest for winning Best International Feature Film. Now moving on to Best Documentary Feature Film, and the winner in that category went to 20 Days in Mariupol. And that film beat out Bobby Wine, The People's President, The Eternal Memory, Four Daughters, and To Kill a Tiger. Nothing much to say there, but congratulations to 20 Days in Mariupol for winning Best Documentary Feature Film. Now for Best Documentary Short Film, that went to The Last Repair Shop. And it went to Ben Proudfoot and Chris Bowers. and that film beat out the ABCs of book banning, The Barber of Little Rock, Island in Between, and Nine Nine Y Po. So congratulations to The Last Repair Shop for winning Best Documentary Short Film. Now we move on to Best Live Action Short Film. And the winner in that category went to The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, to which Wes Anderson and Steve Rails won in that category, beating out The After, Invincible, Knight of Fortune, and Red, White, and Blue. Right out of the gate, when I saw Wes Anderson's name for The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar in my nominations episode that I talked about, I was hoping he was going to win. Wes Anderson was nominated for multiple Oscars. Like, he was nominated for Fantastic Mr. Fox, Grand Budapest Hotel, even the Isle of Dogs. But for The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, which is basically a short story of the same name by Roald Dahl. I haven't seen the short film, but I heard it was good. And knowing Wes Anderson, if you know Wes Anderson's style of filmmaking, you kind of know what he likes to do with that. If you know what I'm saying. But knowing the fact that Wes Anderson won his very first Oscar from the Academy Awards, and he was nominated for 8 Academy Awards, and he won 1 Academy Award, and that's in the Best Live Action Short Film category. So congratulations to Wes Anderson and Stephen Rails for The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. Now moving forward to Best Animated Short Film. And the winner in that category went to War is Over, inspired by the music of John and Yoko. And that film beat out Letter to a Pig, 95 Senses, Our Uniform, and Pachydermy. So congratulations to War is Over, inspired by the music of John and Yoko in the Best Animated Short Film category. Now moving over to the musical side of things for Best Original Score. And the winner in that category went to Ludwig Göransson for Oppenheimer. And he beat out Laura Cartman for American Fiction, John Williams for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Robbie Robertson for Killers of the Flower Moon, and Jerskin Fendrix for Poor Things. I saw this one coming, knowing the fact that Ludwig Göransson is nominated for his 3rd Oscar, and he just took home his 2nd Oscar for Best Original Score. Like, Ludwig Göransson was nominated last year for Best Original Song from Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And of course, we all know he was nominated and won his first Oscar for the first Black Panther movie. For what he's doing right now, he is going up in the world of music. Like, he has composed some great musical scores. Black Panther, obviously. He's also composed scores for the first 2 Creed movies. He also composed music for Disney Pixar's Turning Red, and then he even composed Christopher Nolan's Tenet as well. He also composed the Mandalorian theme for the first 2 seasons until Joseph Shirley took over for season 3 of Mandalorian. I think it's because Ludwig was busy working on Black Panther Wakanda Forever and Oppenheimer, which I'm pretty sure is the reason why Ludwig Göransson had Joseph Shirley do season 3 of Mandalorian, and of course Creed 3 as well. In my opinion, the best part of Ludwig Göransson's score for Oppenheimer is gotta be Can You Hear the Music? Like, it literally feels like he went out of his way to use not only not only using musical instruments, but also musical instruments, from the brass section to the wind section to the string section to percussion, but he also incorporated some electronic music as well. And it sounds like a science experiment coming together, and of course, the building of the atomic bomb as well. Like, it really feels like can you hear the music? It almost feels like a science experiment if you really think about it. I mean, there are other ways to describe Can You Hear the Music, but in my opinion, Can You Hear the Music is literally describing as a literal science experiment of getting the atomic bomb together. Even the opening score, Fission, has a depressing tone to it, most notably from the string section. Before I moved on, I want to give a couple of shout outs. I mean, John Williams, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I will say this, I'm glad John Williams got his 54th Oscar nomination. Is there anything to say about John Williams? He has created some of the most memorable scores out there, and Indiana Jones is one of them. And I just want to congratulate him on getting his 54th Academy Award nomination. And and of course, Robbie Robertson. Robbie Robertson, I mentioned Robbie Robertson in my Oscar nominations and Razzie nominations episode. Like, Robbie Robertson is a posthumous nominee, because Robbie Robertson passed away on August 9th of 2023. So I'm glad the Academy was able to give Robbie Robertson an Academy Award nomination. So I'm glad Robbie Robertson got the recognition he deserves. And rest in peace to Robbie Robertson. But anyway, congratulations to Ludwig Göransson for winning the Best Original Score Oscar for Oppenheimer. Moving forward to Best Original Song. And the winner for Best Original Song went to uh, Billie Eilish and Phineas O'Connell for What Was I Made For from the Barbie movie. And for those who are wondering, yes, this is the only win for the Barbie movie. What Was I Made For was the only win for Barbie. And I'll be honest with you, I was rooting for I'm Just Ken to win the Oscar for Best Original Song, but let's be honest, I'm Just Ken was the better song. It was the better song in my opinion. I really love Ryan Gosling singing I'm Just Ken. I'm just Ken. Anywhere else I'd be a 10. Isn't my destiny? I mean, come on now. I mean, let's be honest. It was the better song, but I didn't find Billie Eilish's song "What Was I Made For" that memorable. It is a good song though. It is a real good song. I mean, it was played at the end of the Barbie movie when Barbie was having that conversation when Barbie was having a conversation with the creator Barbie herself, Ruth Handler. I mean, it's a beautiful song, but unfortunately, in my opinion, it wasn't as memorable as some of the other songs like "I'm Just Ken." Even "Dance the Night Away." I mean, I still remember that song. I mean, "Dance the Night Away" by Dua Lipa was at least memorable too. It was played like somewhere in the beginning of the movie. I mean, heck, that was played at the start of the Oscars as well. I mean, if you really think about it, the Oscars were really the entire ceremony. They were really pushing for that for the Barbie movie narrative. If you really think about it, Jimmy Kimmel name dropped Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig for like, oh, they should have been nominated. Oh, those two should have been nominated for Best Actress and Best Director, because a lot of people were because there was a lot of people that were complaining that that Margot Robbie was not nominated for Best Actress and Greta Gerwig was not nominated for Best Director. And I just want to get this out of my system. Like, Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig walked away with nominations. Even though it wasn't Best Actress nor Best Director, they still got those two still got nominated. Greta Gerwig got nominated with her husband Noah Baumbach for in the Best Adapted Screenplay category, while Margot Robbie walked away with a Best Picture nomination. Best Picture, Best Picture, the highest honor for the Oscars. And you're telling me that's not enough? And look, I understand that it is upsetting. And look, it is upsetting that that Margot Robbie did not get nominated for Best Actress, nor Greta Gerwig did not get nominated for Best Director. Yes, it is upsetting, but at the same time, there was a lot of competition going on, and it really depends on how well the direction it goes and how good the performance it is. Why make a big deal out of it? I mean, I didn't have a problem with the two not being nominated. I didn't have a problem with that. I understand this is going to be a controversial take, but at the end of the day, really, both Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig walked away with nominations in Best Adapted Screenplay and Best Picture. Okay, I know this is going off the Best Original Song category, but I was just throwing this out. I just want to throw this out there, get this out of my system. But anyway, what was I made for? It beat out The Fire Inside from Flamin' Hot. That was written by Diane Warren. It beat out I'm Just Ken for Barbie, which was written by Mark Ronson and Andrew Wyatt. It beat out It Never Went Away for American Symphony, which was composed by John Baptiste and Dan Wilson, and of course A Song for My People from Killers of the Flower Moon, to which Scott George wrote the music and lyrics for. But I will say this though, I'm glad I'm Just Ken was performed at the Oscars, and that was one of the few highlights of this movie. That was one of the few highlights of the Oscars because Ryan Gosling and all the other Ken actors performing I'm Just Ken, even Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie were singing along to it as well, was literally a fantastic and fun moment as well. So and let's be honest, even though I'm Just Ken didn't win the Oscar, it won the hearts of many people at the Oscars. So, but anyway, credit where credit is due. Congratulations to Billie Eilish and Phineas O'Connell for winning Best Original Song for the Barbie movie, What Was I Made For? But anyway, moving forward to the Best Sound category. Now, the winner in that category went to the Zone of Interest, beating out The Creator, Maestro, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, and Oppenheimer. I was I thought Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning would at least win an Oscar. I'm glad it got the Oscar nomination because I was thinking back to when Top Gun Maverick won for Best Sound, and I was thinking, well, because Tom Cruise was doing Top Gun Maverick, and of course Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, I thought Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning would at least win a sound award. But at the end of the day, it's okay. But at the end of the day, it's okay. But to credit where credit is due, the Zone of Interest won the Best Sound Award. So congratulations to the Zone of Interest. Moving forward to Best Production Design, and the winner in that category went to Poor Things, beating out Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, and Oppenheimer. I'll be honest, I did have Barbie going for the win, but that's okay. And I will give credit to Poor Things. So congratulations to Poor Things for winning Best Production Design. Moving forward to Best Cinematography. And the winner for Best Cinematography went to Point van Hoytema for Oppenheimer, El Condi, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, and Poor Things. Oppenheimer being directed by Christopher Nolan with stellar cinematography, especially from Hoyt van Hoytema. Is there anything else to say about that, especially when it comes to Christopher Nolan and the use of cinematography? I mean, it's literally amazing cinematography whenever Christopher Nolan's directing, especially when it comes from the Oppenheimer movie. And credit to Hoyt van Hoytema for getting the cinematography out there. Congratulations to Hoyt van Hoytema for winning Best Cinematography. Now, moving forward to Best Makeup and Hairstyling. And the winner in that category went to Poor Things, beating out Golda, Maestro, Oppenheimer, and Society of the Snow. Nothing much to say here. Let's move forward. Now, for Best Costume Design, it went to Poor Things, beating out Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, and Oppenheimer. To be honest, I thought Barbie would win Best Costume Design because and I'm just saying this to be honest. The production design and the costumes in the Barbie movie is amazing. And say what you will about the movie, but when you watch the movie, it feels like you're inside the world. You're inside a Barbie doll house, or even the world of Barbie. If you come to think about it, and the production design and the costumes were amazing. It feels like you're inside an actual actual dollhouse, and of course, the world of Barbie as well. But in fairness, Poor Things took home the win. So congratulations to Poor Things for winning Best Costume Design. Moving forward to Best Film Editing, and that went to Jennifer Lame for Oppenheimer, beating out Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Poor Things. Nothing else to say here. Congratulations to Oppenheimer for winning Best Film Editing. Okay, now we move on to the final category, and that is Best Visual Effects. And it's no surprise, it's Godzilla minus one. Because Godzilla minus one took home Best Visual Effects. And it beat out the creator, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, and Napoleon. I mean, to be honest, at first I thought it was going to be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 because Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was the best Marvel film to come out of Phase 5 and probably the best visual effects. But when you have a film that is going up against the king of the monsters himself, Godzilla, like who's going to take on the win? Like literally, you have Godzilla, one of the most famous kaiju monsters from Japan, coming out last year with awesome visual effects, beating out the creator, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, and Napoleon to a pulp. Like literally, Godzilla minus one wiped the floor with all the other movies that were nominated for Best Visual Effects at the Oscars. And Godzilla fans can rejoice because Godzilla finally won an Oscar after 70 years. Yes, that's right. The original Godzilla movie came out in 1954, and this year, 2024, marks the 70th anniversary of Godzilla. And what's actually funny is that the visual effects team, they were full of excitement when they heard they won the Oscar for Best Visual Effects. And if you've seen the ceremony or seen the clip of it, all the visual effects team hold their Godzilla toys in the air because they know that Godzilla took home the Oscar for Best Visual Effects. And even one fan said, Godzilla! Like, oh my goodness. I could tell they were excited, and Godzilla fans can rest. So, congratulations to Godzilla minus one for winning Best Visual Effects. Oh, and by the way, during the Best Visual Effects presentation, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito presented the award because for some reason both of them were in both both actors were in the Batman films, Batman Returns, which Danny DeVito was in as the Penguin, and of course the infamous Batman and Robin movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger playing Mr. Freeze. And both of them really explained how Batman beat them. Arnold's like, love. And Danny DeVito's like, oh, I thought it was heat. Well, Batman tossed me out the window. Well, technically you fell through the glass ceiling, but you count that and into the into the water that's full of toxic chemicals. But I mean, well, but hey, window, whatever. And what's actually funny is that both Danny and Arnold saw Michael Keaton sitting in the front row, and Danny DeVito and Arnold were looking for Batman, and they both found Michael Keaton because Michael Keaton played Batman well in the first two, even though Val Kilmer and George Clooney were in the other two Batman movies. But it's funny because it is real funny too. It's so funny because both of them said, "He's here, there he is, he's there," and Arnold was like, "Oh, you son of a bitch," and it's so funny. It's so funny. And Arnold was like, "You have a lot of nerve to show up at this Oscar ceremony." And Danny DeVito was like, "Yeah, we'll see you at the governor's ball, pal." And I just really love Michael Keaton's facial expression. He was like, "Yeah, you guys want to come at me? Yeah, you guys want to come at me? Want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." Oh my goodness. I can go on for hours with this, but anyway, that's it for the Oscars. That is it for the Oscars. And just to wrap it up on the Oscars section, Oppenheimer took home 7 awards, Poor Things took home 4 awards, and The Zone of Interest took home 2 awards. So that is it. That is the rundown of the Oscars, or the 96th Academy Awards. So anyway, let's get the Razzies out of the way, or should I say the 44th Golden Raspberry Awards. And of course, it's the Golden Raspberry Awards honors the worst of the worst in the film industry over the years. And of course, we are talking about the films that came out in 2023, and that award ceremony took place on March 9th of 2024. And of course, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania earned the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or should I say MCU, its first ever Razzie nominations, breaking the franchise's 16-year streak without a single Razzie Award nomination, not counting the previous year's Morbius, produced in association with Marvel Entertainment, but separate from the shared film universe. But anyway, let's talk about the winners of the Golden Raspberry Awards. So we started with Worst Picture and went to Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey for Scott Jeffrey and Reese Frake Waterfield, beating out The Exorcist Believer, The Expendables 4, Meg 2, The Trench, and of course Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Oh bother, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. Oh bother! How come Winnie the Pooh won Worst Picture? You see, Disney, this is what happens when some of your characters go public domain. See, this is what happens. But anyway, moving forward to Worst Director, and went to Reese Frake Waterfield for Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, beating out David Gordon Green for The Exorcist Believer, Peyton Reed for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Scott Wall for Expendables 4, and Ben Wheatley for Meg 2: The Trench. And just a side note, even though I talked about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, it wasn't a great movie. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either. I mean, I didn't think Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania deserved the Razzie Award, deserved Razzie nominations. I mean, yeah, it's a flawed film, but it wasn't really terrible. It wasn't terrible, but it does have its problems. But I didn't think it deserved the Razzie nominations. I mean, just to be honest. I mean, same with Shazam! Fury of the Gods too. I mean, Shazam! Fury of the Gods wasn't a bad movie. I mean, it was. I mean, it had its moments, but it wasn't terrible. But anyway, let's move forward to Worst Actor, and that went to Jon Voight for Mercy, beating out Russell Crowe for The Pope's Exorcist, Vin Diesel for Fast X, Chris Evans for Ghosted, and Jason Statham for Meg 2: The Trench. And I don't know the reason why Vin Diesel was nominated for Worst Actor for Fast X. Maybe it's because the Razzies are tired of seeing the Fast and Furious movies. I don't know, but anyway, moving forward, Worst Actress went to Megan Fox for Johnny and Clyde, beating out Ana de Armas for Ghosted, Salma Hayek for Magic Mike's Last Dance, Jennifer Lopez for The Mother, and Helen Mirren for Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Still don't understand. I mean, I don't understand why Helen Mirren was nominated for Worst Actress. I mean, she was fine in Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I mean, I liked her in that movie, but I don't know why she was nominated. I mean, come on. Why give her a Worst Actress nomination? I mean, come on. Like, she's a good actor. Helen Mirren's a good actor. But anyway, let's move forward. To Worst Supporting Actor, it went to Sylvester Stallone for Expendables 4, beating out Michael Douglas, including Bill Murray for both Ant-Man and the Wasp, and of course Mel Gibson for Confidential Informant, and Franco Nero for The Pope's Exorcist. Oh boy, looks like Rocky Balboa got knocked off with this win. But anyway, moving forward to Worst Supporting Actress. And that went to Megan Fox for The Expendables 4, beating out Kim Cattrall for About My Father, Bai Ling for Johnny and Clyde, Lucy Liu for Shazam! Fury of the Gods, and Mary Stuart Masterson for Five Nights at Freddy's. Anyway, moving forward to Worst Screen Combo, and that went to Pooh and Piglet as bloodthirsty slasher killers for winning the Pooh Blood and Honey. Oh bother, what the hell was going on with that movie? We got a bloodthirsty and a psychotic hog teaming up for blood and honey. Oh boy. What was this move? What was up with that move? What is up with that movie? And like I said, this is what happens when some of Disney's characters go public domain. Oh, you better watch out, Disney. I think Steamboat Willie's next. But anyway, it beat out 82 merciless mercenaries for Expendables 4, 82 money-grubby investors who donated to the $400 million film for the remake rights to Exorcist, for The Exorcist Believer, Ana de Armas and Chris Evans for who flunked their screen chemistry for Ghosted, and Salma Hayek and Channing Tatum for Magic Mike's Last Dance. Oh boy, you all probably tell I'm suffering through this because it's the frickin' Razzies, if you know what I'm saying. But anyway, moving forward to worst remake, ripoff, or sequel. And that went to Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, beating out Ant-Man and Wasp, Quantumania, The Exorcist Believer, Expendables 4, and Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, otherwise labeled as Indiana Jones and the Dial of, still beating a dead horse. I mean, it wasn't that bad. I mean, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny wasn't a bad film. It was actually a decent movie. I think it's just because of how Disney handled. I believe it's just how Disney handled this film, including Kathleen Kennedy as well. But anyway, moving forward to worst screenplay, and that went to Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, which was written by Reese Frake Waterfield, based on the book by A.A. Milne and E.H. Shepard, beating out The Exorcist Believer, Expendables 4, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, otherwise labeled as Indiana Jones and the Dial of, can I go home now? Dude, I wish. If there was a dial to go back in time, I wish. But that's not the case. And then, of course, it beat out Shazam. And then, of course, Winnie the Pooh also beat out Shazam Fury of the Gods. And then, of course, the final one is the Razzie Redeemer Award, and it went to Fran Drescher. It went to Fran Drescher for the 1998, and it went to Fran Drescher, who was the 1998 nominee and current SAG-AFTRA president for her brilliant shepherding of the Actors Guild through a prolonged 2023 strike with a successful conclusion. And of course, you're all probably wondering what made Fran Drescher the 1998 Razzie nominee. It was because of a film called The Beautician and the Beast. Obviously, a play on words of Beauty and the Beast. And from the sound of that film, I guess it didn't go well. I guess that film didn't do as well. Nothing much to say here. So that is it. That is the 96 Academy Awards, otherwise the Oscar Awards, and of course the 44th Golden Raspberry Awards, otherwise known as the Razzies. Oh boy. Oh, that was a lot to talk about. The editing process is going to be crazy on this, but I guess the editing process is going to be crazy. But anyway, that is it. That is a wrap on this episode on the Oscars and the Razzie Awards. So, what did you all think of the Oscars and Razzie Awards? Did you think the wins were fair? Did you think there were better films or worse films? Or did you think there were other films that could have gotten awards or a nomination or a recognition? I would like to hear your thoughts. But anyway, that is a wrap on this episode. Thank you all for tuning in to Codo Cinema. I'm your host, Mark Codo, aka Codo Man. Remember to watch movies and stay positive.